we are coming in hot with the Bachelor stuff
this week. Yeah.
This week. Get excited. Two great interviews. I will say they were fun and interesting.
They were.
Kicking off today with one, Nikki Ferrell, who, for those of you who may not know, was the winner of Juan Pablo's season, which was the GOAT episode last night. And there are some compelling characters in Bachelor Nation that should have been on our screen more often than they were. Corinne is one of them, comes to mind. Nikki's another one. She was great TV. She's honest. She is opinionated, and she had a very unique experience with being the winner of Juan Pablo's heart, if anyone could be.
Yeah.
Juan Pablo is, I think, the winner of Juan Pablo's heart. It sounds like after talking to Nikki, but we just never really heard Nikki's point of view. She never did a lot of interviews, whether she was allowed to or not, and she never came back on the show, whether it was Paradise, after her and Juan Pablo broke up. And so it was great to catch up with Nikki. I'm glad we did. And she delivers her honest assessment of what happened in the relationship, things from the proposal to AFR, and then some thoughts on Clare. Yeah, which are fascinating.
We got into it a little bit.
Got into it, so I think you will really enjoy it. Make sure to tune in on tomorrow.
Another one who didn't really get a chance to tell her story that much.
Victoria Fuller. What a lovely conversation. We covered it all. I felt like we really went on a journey through that conversation. Highs, lows, laughs. We cried. We fought. I'm just kidding. But it was fun. I think you guys will enjoy that. And obviously, the Vanessa and Rachel episodes are up now on my Patreon. Yes. I'm really quite proud of both the Rachel and Vanessa ones. And I wasn't sure how people would feel about the Vanessa, but because we were so honest about things and how we talked, but people not only seemed to really enjoy what we talked about, but even in a way of exes over the years who had some strong opinions about each other. And how they were able to have a conversation that was at least productive. Yeah,
and she mentioned on the recap on your Go episode that she had just started texting you. So it's kind of cool that you guys get into it a little bit more on your Patreon, because there wasn't that much meat on the
So check that out. Yeah, it's on my Patreon. It's worth your time, I promise. Anything else? Oh, Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
Cast has been revealed. Caitlin's got some competition. One of her competitors is Chrishell.
Yes.
From Selling Sunset, who is scheduled to be our guest next Wednesday.
Yep.
So make sure to tune into that. We plan on getting all the tea from Chrishell.
Yeah, all of it.
All of it. If this week's any reflection of the information and the tea that we deliver on, then I would expect the same from Chrishell. Yeah. So
also Caitlin up against that Carol Baskin.
Baskin. I don't want Carol to win.
No.
But I do want her
to have a journey,
to be on for a few weeks. And I just want to see crazy after crazy after crazy.
I want to see the outfits, the songs, the
want
music.
the producers to
want them to have like behind the scenes crazy.
I want the producers
all of
to
it.
Produce, because they're in a bubble, right?
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're all being quarantined. I'm curious about the logistics of it all, and I'm sure we'll find out from Chrishell what that's like. But she'll Carol will be in this bubble. And we've learned from Bachelor producers, or producers in general in reality TV, is sometimes their best weapon of producing is to simply just fill their cast member with the utmost of confidence in themselves.
Yeah.
And then let them be their most outrageous self. And I very much want Carol to be her most outrageous self, with a credible amount of confidence in all that she is. And whatever that is, I would like to see that unfold on TV.
I'm also like, bravo to that talent booker.
But I hope I hope it's not like 1 week of Carol. I want to see the journey. I want her to finish top 5 or 6.
You want her to have like a Sean Spicer kind of?
I didn't watch that season.
Because people kept voting for him.
Yeah,
even though it was kind of crazy, but it was because it was crazy that people kept voting for him.
I would like that for Carol.
Yeah.
And then at the end, I want to find out. She finishes a dance. FBI comes in, arrests her from the murder of her first husband.
Of her first husband. Dancing with the Stars. The new host, Tyra Banks, cracks it down. Carol.
You know how O.J. Simpson wrote that book called If I Did It?
Yeah.
What if Carol choreographs a dance about like little breadcrumbs and clues of like how she like put her husband in a meat grinder and fed it to tigers? Yeah. What if she
Eye of the Tiger?
She's gonna definitely dance to Eye of the Tiger. Well,
totally.
that's totally gonna happen. That's a week 1 dance.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Nellie's on.
Nellie.
Yeah,
I like that.
I did a lot of dancing and rapping to Nellie in high school.
Nellie's gonna kill it.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Ballroom dancing is different.
What's the sports people that are on it? Oh, the sports people are always surprising. They're always surprisingly
because
amazing at dancing.
From an athletic standpoint, agility, coordination. And Nellie was in that movie that football movie with Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know if he has like an athletic background or anything, but and also like he's a performer. He's a performer. He's a performer, so he knows how to perform. Who else is on there? Jesse Metcalf, fresh off his estranged marriage.
How desperate is that housewife? See what I did there?
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah, nicely done. He was definitely the bad guy in that story.
Yeah.
A bit of a I know some people who know him in that relationship, and he was not the most stand-up guy. I wonder how much of what his storyline is going to be, Jesse Metcalf. Caitlyn will have a story. My guess is Caitlyn's going to talk about her music career.
Yep.
It's a great opportunity for her to promote that. Obviously, Jason will be a part of it, right?
Yeah.
And
this is her dream. She's wanted to do this for so long.
They'll play into that.
Being surprised on getting
Carol
the news.
is like, who did it? Did you do it, Carol?
Yeah.
Did you do it?
Is her dance partner scared to be alone in a room with her?
Is he afraid?
Is he afraid? Is she going to take him out?
Is he a dog guy?
I laughed way too hard at that. But it was funny to me.
Carol, I'm going to be honest. I'm a dog guy.
I'm a dog guy. Don't hurt me.
Who else is on it? I don't
know. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. My brain is filled.
It seems like a good cast, but
yeah.
Chrishell
and Tyra. That's a new one too.
Tyra, hey, I'm Tyra. Great, good for you. Listen, Tom and Aaron for me. Was a little disappointed. I don't know what was wrong with Tom and Aaron, but sure, Tyra. Yeah, great.
Yeah,
I have nothing against Tyra. I'm just a little sad that Tom and Aaron won't be there.
Yeah, it won't have the same vibe for sure.
But I am fascinated to find out like how things are going to logistically work on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
With COVID. So it'll be fun to talk to Chrishell, and also I'm curious to see who Peta's partnered with. We'll probably try to have her and her partner on here.
That'd be fun
as well, and should be a lot of fun. So tune in for that. A lot of good stuff coming up for you here on the Viall Files, and we'll start with Nikki Ferrell.
Yeah.
And enjoy this week. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Nikki, how's it going?
It's going great. How about you?
So good. Thank you for joining. I wasn't sure, who we should have on in this episode. With Juan Pablo's episode, it was a great season. A lot of great characters. A lot of big names that come out of the franchise. And then I thought, who would be great is the woman who won the season, who also,
I don't. Do you really call it winning? Is it
I don't
really
know
winning, though?
I don't know. Lost one.
The one who fell in love.
Last woman standing.
Okay. The felon like.
And also, you've kind of chosen to not really hang around Bachelor Nation or just kind of going back to your your life. So I thought it'd be really interesting to catch up. And I feel like a lot of Bachelor Nation people, especially the people who enjoyed that season, would want to hear from you. And so here we are.
Well, yeah, thank you for having me.
What have you been up to? I guess let's go start there. What's life like for Nikki?
Well, I still live in Kansas City, and I am still working at the Children's Hospital as a nurse. And I'm married. I have a dog. That's pretty much the excitement of my life.
Great. How long have you been married for?
Oh, I have a cat too. I think she might be upset if I left her out.
Definitely don't want to leave out.
Yeah, like 4 years, almost 4 years we've been married.
Oh, wow. Cool.
Yeah.
So going back to that season, I feel like there's a lot to cover with Nikki, not only from what happened with that season, but even the things that are going on now, because a big part of your time on the show, at least what was aired, was this kind of relationship or lack thereof with Clare, who is now maybe the Bachelorette or not.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got a promo.
She's got a promo. They're still sticking with that promo. That would be kind of funny if they had Claire's body with Tayshia's, how sometimes they make memes and they put people's heads on, it'd be kind of weird, but kind of fun.
Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't put it past the producers, so,
Oh, wow.
It might be coming.
Yeah, maybe. Or they'll just shoot a new Tayshia promo. But yeah, so much of your time, obviously, was the relationship you had with Clare, and I guess what was that like? Did you and Clare ever reconcile? And by reconcile, or did you guys just agree to be like, hey, listen, we're not going to hang out, we don't vibe, no hard feelings, let's just move on?
I mean, neither. I think obviously we did not reconcile. I feel like there was never a relationship to reconcile. I think we, I don't really think about her. I don't really, care. And I think she probably feels the same way about me.
Sure.
I don't hate her. We're not friends.
Sure.
We are never going to be friends.
What was the thing that you guys disagreed on the most in the season?
I don't think there was anything we disagreed on. We just didn't like each other. I think that, I think her, her not liking me was more so she saw me as a threat to her relationship, and me not liking her is I just didn't like her. I just didn't like her. I didn't like the way she acted. And I'm not one to fake a friendship with anyone. So I think that probably bothered her, that I didn't really care about her. I didn't care about the dates she went on. I didn't care about anything, not in a malicious way, just in a
you just didn't go out of your way to feel like you wanted to be warm to her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, in that group setting, how many people do you guys usually kind of really connect with and become friends with? It's not all 25
Some people are more concerned about, being friends with everyone. It's a lot of it's self-preservation, it's high school, right? So if you're liked by everyone, then you limit the amount of chances people can talk shit about you. If everyone's talking shit about you, then there's a chance that they may use that to make you seem like the bad guy. It's that simple.
Yeah.
The house, and I've said this before, often will determine who's popular, who's the villain, or things like that.
Right, for sure.
How early on did you feel like you were the front runner on that season?
I don't know. It's looking back on it, I just remember that first night. I was I got out of a limo and did the cheesy thing with my stethoscope, and then I went to the house and I was what am I doing? This is insane. This is nuts. I'm probably gonna go home tonight. I don't know. Maybe when I got that first group date rose, I think I was really shocked by it. And I think that's when I kind of started to realize, and then especially when I got that second one, that was when, everyone started to hate me, but also I was kind of just we're doing this, this is happening. So,
How close were you friendly or close with Charlene while filming? I know you guys like stayed in touch after the show.
Yeah, I mean, we were roommates at the mansion, which started it off, you know, and we are friendly throughout. I love Charlene. I have so much respect for her. I think she's so intelligent, beautiful. You know, I think we're under a lot of stress at the house, and I think that maybe I didn't handle it the best way for a while. So I think that there was like a little period of time where she kind of like didn't associate herself with me because she's like, I'm not being dragged down by, you know, that psycho. But we are still friends. We're friends now, and I still keep in touch with her every now and then.
I remember that because the Juan Pablo season was the first season I watched, right? Because I was going through the casting process. Yeah, Andy's season, so it was like I should start watching the show to know what the hell I'm getting into. So I watched. I watched Juan Pablo season and simultaneously watched Desiree's season because I like went back and bought it because I was like, I feel like I should watch a Bachelorette season because I don't know if that's different than the Bachelor type of thing. And Charlene got the first impression rose that season, and it looked like Juan Pablo was really into her, and then Charlene left on her own.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of people who were just like, oh, Juan Pablo might have picked her. Did you ever felt like Charlene was a real threat in the sense that like, were you worried about that? Like, were you surprised she left? What was that whole dynamic like versus maybe what we saw?
You know, I wasn't surprised that she left. I think that, you know, just like I did get to know her a little bit on the show and just like hearing some things that she said and like, you know, the way she kind of described her life. And I think we all just kind of realized like, okay, like this isn't her like end game. This isn't her for forever. Mm-hmm. You know, and I even asked him like afterwards, I was like, you know, would you have picked Charlene if she would have stayed? I mean, of course he denied that he would have, you know, but then I don't really know if he just was blowing smoke or whatever, you know, he does. So I don't know. I mean, I do think they had like something real. I do think they really liked each other, but I don't know if it was like a real enough connection that it would have lasted outside of the show. Like, I think they both knew it wouldn't. So
it's I only ask just because like, you know, sometimes there are real connections there, and sometimes for the sake of the story, they might amp up, you know, with Charlene leaving on her own, you know, and she got the first impression rose. Real or not, it makes an interesting story for one of the lead's favorites to leave. You know, how does that lead feel about that, or do they want to quit the show? You know, and things like that. So I was curious your point of view on that. I love things that are sustainable and that you can put in your washing machine and make look brand new. And what I'm talking about, people, are Rothys. The only thing that pisses me off about Rothys is they look so great on women's feet, and I want them to look great on mine, but they're not meant for me. They're meant for you, women, and that's great. I'm super happy for you. I'm not jealous at all. It's totally fine.
It's totally fine. You're not
I see
bitter.
Women wearing Rothys all the time. They're looking hot, and they're just like gliding on the surface of the earth because of their comfort of their shoes. And the best part is that they're made from recyclable plastic. So you're doing great things for the environment.
They're already broken in.
Zero break-in period.
Yeah.
Right away. They're just like, oh my God, these like mold on my feet. So that's what I hear all the time.
But they don't just do shoes. They do bags. You can do reversible bags. They have reversible bags. They do masks now. They have their first adjustable sneaker.
And they're like just cute.
Cool.
So many styles.
It's a lifestyle.
Rothy has kept over 60 million single-use plastic bottles out of landfills and transformed them into their signature thread, which is then knit into beautiful, sustainable products. Another major bonus, Rothys are fully machine washable. As we said, every time they need a refresh, you can simply toss them in the washing machine. So get your Rothys right now. You'll love them. Check out all the amazing shoes and bags available right now at rothys.com/VIALL. That is rothys.com, ROTHYS.com/VIALL. Styles and sustainability meet to create your new favorites. Head to rothys.com/VIALL. How do you feel about drinking things that have a sandy texture.
I hate it.
Hate it. Do you like drinking sand?
I don't like drinking sand.
I would agree.
Do you?
No. But I've taken protein powders throughout my life to
have that chalky
to get
taste.
my gains.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So you can get swole.
But sometimes you have to like just mix them forever or shake it without like, and it's still.
Yeah.
But I no, I kid you not. Truly, I've been using Trovani, but I have, and like you mix it like a normal person for an appropriate amount of time, and it's no grainy sandiness.
That's good. That's good to know, because I usually have to put like a bunch of fruit and stuff in it to try and get that taste out. So it's nice that you can just mix it.
Additionally,
yeah,
it's made from the highest quality of things. I always check with my sister, my holistic nutritionist sister, and she'll give me her very honest assessment.
Yeah, you don't like things that aren't like that.
She approves. No fillers, no gums, no flavors, just organic pea protein, organic pumpkin seed protein, organic chia seed protein, organic alkalized cocoa powder, organic vanilla powder, and much more organic things. They're USDA organic certified. We all know how I feel about that. Non-GMO projects verified and vegan certified. So you know what you're putting into your body, and it's just the texture is just.
It's good. And the vanilla and the chocolate.
It's good. It's good.
Do you like vanilla or chocolate better?
Oh, fine. It's protein. I like them both. They're both good.
Vanilla.
Trovani tastes so good, and it's so good for you, but because the ingredients are simple and natural. So get your Trovani today. Today, Trovani has a special opportunity for my listeners. Get a protein powder gift pack, including a full-size bag, your choice of flavors, for a full 50% off. Wow. Yeah. Plus free gifts from Trovani. This is a $99 value. Now yours for just $29.
Oh, whoa.
And 29 cents. Wow. To get the full protein powder gift pack for just $29.29 plus free gifts, text FILES, FILES, to 64000. Text FILES, FILES,
64,000
to 64,000. That's text FILES to 64,000 for this amazing offer from Trovani. Text FILES to 64,000. I've heard a lot of stories about, and a lot through like Charlene and Andy and some other people I've talked to, that there was kind of like a point in the season where even the women could almost tell, like the women really turned on Juan Pablo. Like he almost became the villain of your season while filming. Is that accurate? Did you feel that way? Or because you were one of the few, like you and Clare might have been different, because I've always joked like, as the Bachelor, all you're trying to do is like find love while sending everyone else home before they hate you, because they just realize that you're you're not into them. So they're just like, fuck this guy, type of thing.
Yeah. Like everything's great until someone gets sent home.
Yeah. But I heard with Juan Pablo, it was a little different, just because, Juan Pablo is Juan Pablo. And did you feel that way? Or looking back, did you have a different point of view with the hindsight, just like because you were getting the attention from Juan Pablo, that might cause you to not turn on him, so to speak?
I mean, I think there was like a point where like I was annoyed with him, like in the way he was acting, and I was very frustrated. But I also, like at that point, I was like, I'm in this for like the long haul, and so I was just gonna like get through it. And actually, like what you didn't see is after Fantasy Suites and after Andy had left, she actually came back and they like filmed an entire conversation with us that never aired, obviously. And basically she was saying like, I'm worried about you. Like, I just want to make sure like you're okay and you're not just like
you and Andy
glossing this over. Yes, me and Andy.
Okay, so she leaves Juan Pablo, has the kind of infamous breakup, and then she comes in to like give you the, hey girl.
Yeah. She was like, this is why I left. Like he literally talked about himself all night long, which doesn't really surprise me. But but at the time I was like, I liked him, but I thought I would like probably like him more outside of the show, and I thought I saw like this good part in him that other people weren't seeing, and like that's what made me stick around, was the hope that like things would be different outside of the show, and we would just like end up having this normal, like, great life together. Obviously that's not what happened, but, yeah, I think there was a point where I was concerned, but I'm like, well, I'm in it now. What am I going to do now? Like, I'm not going to leave. So I just kind of turned a blind eye to it, I think.
Because you and Andy were probably, well, I know, which from her, she told me you guys were like best friends while filming.
Yeah, we were very close while filming. I just think we kind of just like hit it. We just clicked right away. And I'm the kind of person where I don't have like a ton of friends, but the friends I do choose to let in, I'm really close with. So I mean, I love Andy. I think she's great.
Are you guys still
I think
friends?
at one point,
are you still close?
Yeah, we still talk. We're definitely not as close as we used to be, but it's hard, like living on opposite sides of the country pretty much. And our lives are so different. Like, I work 12, 13 hour shifts, and sometimes we play phone tag and, that kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, that happens with friends as we get older, but you guys are still in touch. We'll check in from time to time.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
So like what the proposal or lack thereof, the finale, again, when it aired, I was sitting in my hotel room for about to go on Andy's season while I was watching it. Right. So I very much remember it watching in real time. I had, other than Desiree's season, which was already kind of unique in itself because, Brooks left. And
you didn't have comparison.
And so I'm like, wow, this is wild. What was your thought in the moment? Obviously, you didn't have the luxury of having any idea what happened with him and Clare, right? So like you come in, you assume he broke up with her, right? Because you could tell he was picking you.
I knew I was good. I knew he was picking me. Like I knew he wasn't picking her.
Did he tell you?
Because I knew but I knew our relationship, and I also know that the loser doesn't go home at sunset. Like, and also there were like the boat that had drove up, like there were like footprints on the beach, and like you could tell like someone had already been there. And I said, you guys would have, you think you would have like kind of like brushed that off, but I knew that I was going to be the last one there. Okay. I didn't know it was going to end up like that, but
that's a good one. No one goes home at sunset. I love that. It's so smart.
Yeah.
Though. Yeah, because that's the shot, right?
Yeah. Right.
So you go up there, you think you're going to get, you thought you were going to get engaged, right?
I did, but like, honestly, I remember sitting in the car, like waiting for like my turn before I got in the boat. And like, I was nervous and, excited. And I remember like looking down at my ring finger and I was like, what am I doing? Like, what am I doing? Yeah. And then I was just like, well, I was like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Like,
so that's it.
Like looking back on it. Yeah.
But that's like an interesting take. Cause I've said this a few times. I'll never forget right before Andy showed up at my door on my season to break up with me. Mm-hmm. I remember thinking, wouldn't it just be easier if she picked Josh? Like, and it was only because like, am I really about to get engaged to someone? Like, this is nuts. And I do remember when I opened the door and saw Andy, for like a half a second, I felt relief, only to be followed by like what I was but like just the idea of like, this is insane.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just
like this is nuts.
So yeah, it sounds like you had that kind of level-headed approach, but then you go again you're like back in the bubble with the expectation of like, wait, everyone else gets proposed to, what, mm-hmm. And so as he's like talking, was there a moment when you realized like this isn't like, were you confused in the moment or like what was that like?
I think, yeah, definitely. You can definitely, like when you watch it, you can definitely see it on my face. I'm just like, what? Like, I was like excited. And like, I was told like, I think like I was told like he was going to talk first and then I was going to talk. But like, I got up there and he just didn't say anything. He just stared at me. And I was like, well, okay, I guess it's my turn. So I think I like said something and then he comes back with I have a ring in my pocket and I'm not going to use it. And like, I think you can just see my face at that point. I'm like, what the hell? Like, why did I just say all that
stuff?
Why
say that? He's like, why bother with the ring?
I don't know. I think he wanted me to know, like they made him pick out a ring or something. Like, yeah. But he wasn't going to use it.
You're a good girl.
And I think he wanted
ring.
No,
exactly.
I think
exactly.
Well, interesting enough, I actually think Nikki makes a good point. And what I've heard this, it was I mean, I'm kind of weirdly, it wasn't almost as sexist as you guys are implying, I think, because I've heard he was just so resistant to production at that point. It was like, fuck you guys.
Oh,
I'm not doing what you tell me. So it was almost like him not saying, it wasn't like, hey, if you're good, I'll give you this ring. It was like, hey, they gave me this and I'm not going to use it. You know what I'm saying? I think it was more about that. Don't get me wrong. He said sexist shit all the time. Yeah. And, he was pretty misogynistic. Yeah. But I do think it was a lot of competing with production.
He will admit it. He wanted to, he didn't want them to know what he was going to do. So he had a ring picked out. He didn't tell anyone who he was picking. Like he told me that like the night before he wasn't going to pick either one of us. He had decided because he didn't know he could just give out a rose and not propose. But then once he kind of figured that out, he was like, oh, okay. Like, I really like this girl. I want to be with her, but I'm not ready to marry her. Which hindsight, thank God. What
a win for you.
Hashtag winning.
Right. So I think he just really wanted to give a big F you to production. And I mean, it just continued on after that. Like, it just was like, I was like, what is going, like, this isn't going to go well. This is not going to go well at all.
Yeah. So I'm curious. Okay. So he doesn't propose. He's like, I like you a lot, winks at you. Did you throw up in your mouth in that moment or?
Like,
I just was like,
a lot.
Dude.
And then
like,
winks.
Seriously? Like, I just like, I put myself out there and like, I like stuck by you through all of your shit and you're going to tell me you like me a lot? Like,
but then winks.
Okay.
Then
all right.
It's the wink.
The wink.
Oh God, the wink. I can't. I'm like replaying it in my head right now.
If it had a click in it, it would have made it better.
Oh God, do you imagine the legend that you would be, Nikki, if you actually went, excuse me, and pretend to like vomit burp right after his wink?
I mean,
you would be a legend.
I think I wanted to.
You would be a legend.
Just make it stop.
You would have been like, excuse me, hold on. All right, go ahead, JP.
Oh my God.
Go ahead.
In that moment, I just was like, this is so embarrassing. I just remember being so embarrassed. And I just wanted to crawl in a hole and I wanted everyone to stop filming and I wanted them to just leave us alone. And like, I was like, I knew that it was going to be so hard for us going forward because like people don't watch the show to hear someone tell the last girl standing that they like them a lot. Yeah. Like nobody watches the show for that. And so I just knew instantly, I was like, well, shit. Like
it was like the ultimate like pat on the head after sex.
Like the kiss on the forehead.
Oh yeah. 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 You might as well like call me like sweetheart. Like, okay, sweetie, like
buddy.
Yeah.
So as the show wraps, right? That weird stuff all happens. Show wraps. Mm-hmm. You guys have your kind of honeymoon. Was there even drama with him in production afterwards? Because usually, the show wraps, you get a bunch of congratulations. We're so happy for you. They wrap on the show. Everyone's clapping. And then you do a couple post interviews. And then, less than an hour later, you're in a kind of a honeymoon house and they give your phones back and you're supposed to just really enjoy each other. Was that what it was for you guys? Or was there like drama because he just did what he did?
I think there was drama, but like I also think that they were trying to like salvage it, and I think that they were trying to like they're like, okay, can we maybe like come film you guys together like because we were in St. Lucia, and can we come film you guys together and like maybe kind of like make a story out of that, be like, you guys actually do really like each other, like here's the romance that everyone's watching for, but he did not want that.
And that's the thing too. Like that's them extending an olive branch. It's like, all right, fine. You didn't want to propose. But
let's show how in love you are.
Let's see how in love you are. Let's show the genuineness of it. Because hey, we saw it with Colton and Cassie. They didn't propose. But what it was clear in that moment, at least how it was portrayed, a genuine love for each other and a hope, like a serious commitment on both their parts. And that's what people want to see.
Right. But almost like they didn't want him to look like a jerk either. They wanted to be like, no, he really does love her. Yeah.
So it's
exactly. And I appreciated that, like looking back. And I just remember telling him at one point, I was like, can you just play nice? Like, you're not like, they like own you at this point. They own both of us, and they're not going to make this easy for us. And we're never going to be able to get what we want or anything if you don't play nice. And he just would not do it. He was just so stubborn, so stubborn.
Wow. That's crazy. And I'm assuming, you know, from the time I've always talked about how the challenge that every couple faces from the time the show wraps to the end of the show. And then going back, you know, Juan Pablo made some disparaging remarks about the LGBTQ community, you know, while before even the show started airing, which, you know, here you are, the lead of the show, makes some, yeah. And like when that happened, like, did you, what was going through your head?
Okay, here's the thing. He's not a bad guy. Like, he's not like, a mean person. Like, I think deep down he has a good heart. He cares a lot about people. I think he just cares a lot about himself, you know, more. But I really don't think he meant anything by that. And, I remember, like, he told me when it happened and he was upset, but instead of apologizing and saying like, this is not what I meant. Like, this is not, you know, he reverted back to the language thing, which I do think that it did have something to do with that. Like,
language, or they just kind of more culturally different. I mean, it's, you know, not that that's necessarily an excuse, but, you know, it just,
yeah. So that's from that point on, it was just like, the media just hated him. Everyone hated him. And so it was really hard because, like, here I liked the guy at the time. Like, I wanted to stick up for him, but I can't because, you know, no one knew that we were together. And then obviously he wasn't listening to any advice I was giving. So there's that. But yeah, that was rough. That was a real struggle.
And then the final kind of was the AFR, which if we couldn't top off the proposal,
so
Juan's like, hold my beer. I can do better. What I really empathize with you watching that, even in the moment when I didn't know what was the fuck the show was about or what was going on, but having now lived through a handful of AFRs.
Yeah. Just a couple, right?
I really empathize with you because you truly were on an island. Here you are, Juan Pablo, the Bachelor. It's truly live TV. You don't know what to do. Juan's being super secretive. I mean, did you have an idea of what he was planning? And probably not, because, like,
no.
Deer in headlights. I mean, I feel so bad for you. Like, what was going through your head in that moment where he's like literally defiantly fighting with Chris Harrison, indirectly kind of throwing you under the bus? Like, what was that like? I can't imagine.
If you watch it back, I think you can see my hand on his knee and I'm like squeezing his leg, like, stop it, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. Like, and I just, like, I tried to be neutral. I tried to stick up for him, but he was like very adamant, like, before, he's like, we're not going to tell them anything. And what was I supposed to do? I felt like I had to choose, like, my relationship or, you know, like, my reputation or something. I just felt like I was in this awful situation. Everyone hated him. But I still had friends from the show that, you know, were, you know, that cared about me. And I remember just them being like, Nikki, like, what is going on? And then it just made it so miserable. Like, that's supposed to be the day that, you know, you can finally be out in public and everyone's supposed to be so happy for you. And I think I was pretty naive. I think I thought that people might be happy for us and be excited. But then after AFR, like, we went straight back to our house and I literally sobbed for like an hour, just uncontrollably sobbing. And I'm like, this is not how this day was supposed to end. Like, this is not what this was supposed to look like for us. And it was just, and we didn't do any of the press, you know, because we can't, you know, he didn't want to talk to anyone. He didn't want to talk about it. So we didn't do any of the press tours. Like, we didn't have a chance to, like, save face or show people, like, hey, like, yeah, it didn't turn out the way you thought it would, or, you know, but this is a real thing for us and we're really in a relationship. We just, you know, don't want everyone under a magnifying glass with it. So it was struggle.
I feel so bad for you. And what's so crazy about that is, I've learned after the fact that AFR can really change everything for good or worse.
Absolutely.
Imagine, because all this time passes from the proposal to AFR, but for the audience, it's literally
2 seconds.
This happens, commercial break, AFR, right? So had Juan Pablo be a total dick to Clare, not good. Awkwardly,
right?
Tell Nikki he likes her, winks at her, throws up in mouth, not great. Cuts a commercial break. Juan Pablo comes out and just like, hey, listen, I was stressed the fuck out. I definitely have some regrets. I'll be honest. I'm going to just be honest. It's live TV, so I'm going to be totally honest. I was overly resistant to production. I let them get in my head. And America kind of would have loved them for that. They love it when they shit on the show sometimes.
Right.
But you know what?
Yeah.
I love this girl. She's so great. And yeah, we're not going to get engaged, but she is beautiful and nice, and she keeps me, and he showed like just any humility.
Yeah.
Everyone would have been like, okay, you're hot. She's hot.
Yeah.
You'll be in love. And they probably would have really forgiven him for the Clare. I mean, not totally, but it doesn't take much for people to really, be wanting to give you a shot. And that's all he had to do.
Yeah. But watching
I know. And that's in my mind, I was like, it was so simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine. It must be so uncomfortable for you because there you are, like unable to say anything, but everyone watching you in that moment, even me watching you in that moment, I'm just like, blink if you can hear us. I'm sure like a bunch of your friends were probably like, what does she see in this guy? And that's like so much pressure because no one's explaining what you're having in private, so no one gets it.
With the benefit of hindsight, because I totally get in the moment. You did like the guy, right?
I did.
As much as the criticism that Juan Pablo got, we all are siloed in that show. So while he made some mistakes and he was dumb to be so resistant, even like Charlene, who's like, I like Juan Pablo. Yes, I get it. He's rough around the edges. He said some stuff culturally, there is a barrier there, but there are some charming things to him. Yeah. Fine. So you like the guy. So I get it. You want to defend the person. You had real feelings for the guy. With the benefit of hindsight being said, knowing how things played out and you're married with and happy with someone else, you got your dog and your cat, what would you have done differently either in the proposal or at AFR, not being so worried about sticking up for your man?
I think I would have questioned hey, I just put myself out there and this is that's all I'm going to get. I just felt like ever since the proposal day, I was constantly waiting for him to choose me. And it was just I don't know why I put up with that for so long. We wanted to, usually it works best if the couple ends up moving to the same city. And he wanted to do that, but I didn't want to move to LA with someone who couldn't even tell me that they love me. Why would I leave my job that I absolutely love, my friends, my family in Kansas City for someone that I already put myself out there once for and they didn't reciprocate. And I'm still waiting for them to reciprocate. And so why would I do that? And he just couldn't understand, my thoughts and my feelings on that,
Did he ever ask?
I just think I should have questioned more. Did he ever ask?
What I'm saying is it sounds like that he never, as a couple of the show, I mean, granted he was the Bachelor, but he was never hey, babe, how do you think we should approach this? Or what should we do? What's your opinion? Right. Or was he always just
never.
He never, what I want.
This is what's going to happen. I'm the Bachelor.
That's literally how he was. This is what's going to happen. This is how we're going to handle this. And if I did say because several times I suggested, I was why don't you just kind of give them what they want? It'll make things so much easier. It'll make things easier for me. It'll make things easier for you. And he would listen, but it was talking to a wall. The wall's there, but it's just, he would just be okay, well, that's not what we're going to do. And he would say, you don't understand. They've, what they've done to me and how they've wronged me and how they've wronged you. And I just want to say they would stop it if you would stop it. Just play nice. Just that's all everyone wanted was just to play nice, just for him to cooperate. And he refused, absolutely refused.
It's funny because, we've talked about production and obviously on this show. And, again, I go back and forth where like, yeah, they do things. They're not always innocent, but there's that classic,
Right.
like, what they did to me. And it's just like, as the lead, like they absolutely wanted people to love Juan Pablo when they casted him. It wasn't like, we're going to cast this guy and make him a villain. They wanted to love him. And from the moment, like I remember like night one, I remember was told by one of the producers, he's like, they want sincerity. Like they understand that not everyone's perfect. They understand that like, hey, you don't, I know you're not always a Boy Scout, but like be respectful and respect the role and kind of thing. And just like act sincere, And I remember I heard a story like night one, granted he's joking, sure. But the producers come in, the executives, he's like, something along the lines of, like, can't wait to meet all these bitches kind of thing. And just kind of like very, and again, fine. You could say he's joking, whatever, but just like you're about to like meet women who are, it just the
like
whole.
Class it up a little bit.
Yeah, he just decided to like kind of be a frat boy in that moment and be like, oh, I'm gonna beat a bunch of like whatever, It's just like, no, man, like you're the Bachelor, like start just like acting as if kind of thing. Yeah. And he just kind of set a tone early on of not really quite understanding what he signed up for from a sincerity standpoint. Yeah. And
like not like
he had no idea.
Yeah. And
and also like he didn't know what the role entailed. He didn't know, like he claims that he didn't know like they were expecting a proposal at the end, like so I kind of understand part of it because he'd never seen the show. Like he only saw the parts of Desiree's season that he was on. Shocker. Sure. But he didn't watch the show.
Which so he didn't watch
any other season.
Like, yeah.
No. No.
Yeah, I mean, which is interesting about that is when they cast you, there's nowhere does it say you have to get engaged, so they don't force it or make you. There's a little bit of
expectation.
Yeah, there's a little bit of, they don't make you, but like, okay,
Here comes Neil.
For example, they didn't ask me if I was ready to get engaged. They're just like, well, it's time to meet Neil Lane. I'm like, well, yes, or, I remember that.
Because we're doing it.
How many times have you met Neil Lane?
Yeah, it's like, are you going to at least pretend to ask? It's like the insincere, like, check grab that you want from a girl on a first date. It's like, I'm going to pay for it, but can you at least pretend? Like, so you just pretend to ask me if I'm ready to get engaged, Vanessa? Because we all know I'm going to, but just pretend that you respect that this is my decision and not yours. So yeah, they can do that shit. But that's the thing. They don't ask, but it's just like, they do, like, they weren't, it's just wild to hear that perspective because like they wanted him to look good. Like they wanted America to crush over this like sexy Latin guy.
Well, because America did on Desiree's season.
Yeah, they were, when they cast him, it was a big, like, put it this way. I didn't watch the show. And before I heard about, before I was being casted, as someone who didn't watch the show, I heard about this guy named Juan Pablo. And when I first saw a preview of him being the Bachelor, I thought he was like some like already famous Latin guy. It's like, oh wow,
Latin pop star.
Where did they find this handsome man? Like I thought he was like, who is this guy? Turns out he's just a fucking guy, But yeah, so like it was a big deal. Like from pop culture, like they didn't want him to look bad.
Yeah.
But it just got to a point where there's like, fuck this guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know.
When was the last time you talked to him?
Like in person, not even in person, like on the phone was like, I think when we broke up.
Okay.
There are a couple text messages that went back and forth after that. A couple months after we'd broken up, he texted me and he said like how many days or how many weeks out of the month would I have to live in Kansas City for you to be okay? And I was like, wait, what? Like,
after you broke up?
Yes, after we broke up, because that was like the big thing. He didn't want to move to Kansas City, but again, I didn't want to like move across the country, for someone that couldn't, tell me they love me. And
so did you go an entire relationship with him ever saying I love you?
No, he did. We went to Bali and he did eventually like we had gone out to dinner and he had like, like how you can have it like the hotel like set up like a romantic thing while you're gone. And he did that. And I remember we came, and honestly, I'm telling this story and I'm thinking like, I don't know why I'm still like semi-protecting him, because I'm thinking like, oh my God, he would kill me if he heard me talking about this, but like, what do I care now? We came back and he had spelled it out. He had spelled out te amo in like these rocks. And, I was just kind of like, at that point, I was just kind of like, why are you doing this? Like, we were kind of already on the outs. Like it was really hard. Our relationship was at that point and we weren't getting along. And I remember I didn't even really want to go to Bali with him, but it's Bali and like, why wouldn't you go kind of thing. So I just remember being like, almost like throwing up in my mouth. And I'm like, now you tell me, dude, like, come on. Like, I've been trying to squeeze this out of you for months now. And you pick now, like, is this like a last ditch effort, or do you really mean this? And I just kind of remember being like kind of grossed out by it. And I was like, cool.
But also he does it in rocks in a language that you don't speak per se. It's just like, yeah, just fucking
I would think that was kind of cute. I would think that was kind of cute.
I know. I mean,
if I was like in love with someone, I would think that was cute.
Sure.
Because that was his
Wouldn't
big
you want
thing.
to hear it?
Like, and I think he did say it like after, but like, or maybe he didn't. I don't know. Maybe he didn't say it in English, because like to him, his whole big thing was like Americans overuse the word love, which I agree with him. Like, there's different, like saying like, oh, I love donuts, and then turning around and telling someone I love you. Like, like the comparison there. So I understand how there's two different words.
That's an interesting, yes, sometimes people can overuse it. I get wanting to protect what that word means and not feeling the pressure to say it.
A lot.
I like you a lot.
I like a lot.
A lot.
I like donuts a lot.
Did he wink at
exactly? And oh God, probably, I don't know, barf.
Did he wink at you a lot?
I think so. I think maybe I just tried to like block that out of my memory or something, because like I think winking is so cheesy. I hate it. I think it's so stupid. Like hopefully you don't wink at girls. You don't wink at girls, right? No one does.
Not if I'm trying to be serious.
I think that may be a cultural thing too, though.
If I'm like,
I feel like every guy in my family,
I'm trying to be corny and cheesy. Yeah, I'll wink.
Yeah.
But like, I'm in on the joke, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't, just like girls aren't like, oh, that's a sexy wink. Like nobody does that.
Did you ever? Well, how soon did you meet your now husband after you and Juan Pablo break up? And did you ever consider, or were you ever asked to go back to Paradise as a result of you and Juan Pablo breaking up?
So, my husband and I, we knew each other before. We were really good friends for several years, and we actually like kind of semi-dated, like on and off. Like it was never like good timing, and like I had always like broken up with a boyfriend and kind of like went, running back to him, and wasn't a good human to him, honestly. So, he like had stuck by me through a lot of stuff. And so I had known him for a long time before Juan Pablo, I think. And, I know he watched the season, and I know he like watched the end of that, and he was like, what are you doing? Like, you are like, you're out of your mind. But yes, they did. There was like a time, after Juan Pablo and I had broken up where, my husband now, we weren't dating or anything. And they did ask me to go on Paradise. And I mean, I still was very bitter about production at that point. And I was like, absolutely not. Like, look what you've already done to my life. Like, but in reality, it wasn't them that did it. It was that relationship, and it was him. I mean, at that point, they weren't helping, but I do think that I was hard on them. I was really hard on them. I was so bitter. I was so hateful towards them.
I get why. And obviously you probably had in some rights too, in some ways you were stuck being team Juan Pablo.
I think that I haven't, like, I never told my side of the story for so long because I was like still protecting him.
Sure. Yeah.
And like, it's kind of like, it's been kind of good to like, kind of like be like, hey, like, he's not a bad guy. Like, I know everyone thinks he's like this terrible monster. Like, he's not. Is he a little bit of a douchebag? Yeah. But it's just like, it was the weird circumstances like that, he didn't understand when he got into it. And, I wish I would have stuck up for myself a little bit more in hindsight, but, I don't regret anything. I think I regretted going on the show for a really long time. But now I don't. Now I realize I've learned so much about myself, and and also just like watching the show now, I have like you just view it through a different lens for sure. But yeah, it's been nice to be able to tell my side a little bit. I'm
glad you feel that way, because it is such a shame, because here you are again, winner or whatever you want to call it, but you got screwed in a sense of your ability to enjoy the experience, specifically because you were stuck between this, like, well, I care about this guy. In any relationship, you want to stand by your man or stand by your woman or whatever it is. And that was such a winless battle for you. And then, here you are going to get criticized for sticking up for Juan Pablo. And people, it's like you're either the devil or you're not. There's no in between. It's not.
Yeah.
Right.
And
people like said the most terrible, hateful things to me on social media. Cause like, I think like my season was kind of like, just like the start of like where, everyone became like a blogger afterwards. Social media.
Yeah. that was real.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, people like said the most hateful things to me on, after AFR, and, like people said like told me that I was a disgrace to women, and like I should go get a gun and I should kill myself. And it's just like, I was like, wow. And I think I just kind of shut down after that. I think I was just like, I was so afraid of, people recognizing me when I was out. And I just like, I desperately wanted to go back to normal life so bad. Like I was just like, I was hurt, and I felt like he wasn't sticking up for me. And I felt like he kind of created that mess for the both of us. And he had tougher skin than I did, obviously. So I didn't handle it as well as I should have, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know how you could have. I mean, it's so easier looking back in hindsight to say, well, God, I wish I would have done this, or wish I would have done that, for sure. Right. But again, whether it's the proposal, whether it's AFR, you were operating with zero information, and like, it's just like so what were you supposed, like, no one, it was such an unfortunate position to be in. I don't know if anyone's ever really been in a position like that on the show
I don't think so.
Because like,
like I know.
Yeah. The expectations, like, if you are remotely familiar with the show, when it comes to proposal, you're just like, he's going to say he loves me and we're going to get proposed, and this is going to be a happy moment. And so then it's a weird moment. So you're like, well, how am I supposed to handle and then AFR, same thing, where he just doubles down, and it was you didn't really.
AFR was awful.
It was I feel bad because it was such an impossible thing, and like short of you deciding right then and there on live national television to say, fuck this relationship, I need to worry about me and how I feel and just speak up regardless, and then I'll worry about the fallout after the fact. Like, who makes that decision on live national television?
Right.
Jason Mesnick.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to protect him at that point.
Yeah. No, it's really, even with the Jason Mesnick stuff, that wasn't live, that was taped.
Oh, that was taped. You're right.
Right.
So that was before they were doing live TV. So it's totally different. Yeah. It's wild. And it was a studio audience. Jason didn't have a studio audience.
No, there's so much pressure in that situation. I can't even imagine.
It's fucking wild.
And that's probably the only Bachelor 2 that pushed back and was that defiant against production to be like that.
Yeah. And again, I can't imagine the position, Nikki. Like, it's a winless battle. There was no way no one would do, like, it was no one.
Yeah. No.
I remember watching Chris's season, like after mine, and I was just like, wait, I think I got cast on the wrong season. Like this guy seems normal, but like, is anyone really normal that goes on this show? I mean, like, no.
Chris has his, but in terms of like Chris, Juan Pablo was just like, again, here's a guy who's like, he's from Venezuela, language was definitely English was definitely his second language. Culturally, it was different. He was, and then you add the fact that he's incredibly stubborn, slightly narcissistic. Was
slightly
just a scotch.
It was a bummer for you because every other Bachelor is just like, yeah, they, you worry about wanting to be respectful and not be the dick or the douchebag, even if you are, it's like, oh, just gotta be nice. And he was just like, nah. Fuck it.
He's like, whatever. He's like, I'm gonna do me.
Yeah. And maybe in the Venezuela Bachelor would have, it's like he did it thinking, I don't know, maybe in Venezuela people would appreciate, I don't know.
And people were like looking for the Latin like Casanova to come in and
the manly macho guy who takes what he wants.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
I don't know.
He was the wrong choice. He was just, he didn't know what he was signing up for, and he just didn't know how to play the game. And it was unfortunate because I think it was like, it affected more than just him. It affected me and my family and, all that kind of stuff. So.
Have you ever, probably know the answer, ever got an apology from him ever for
Oh God, no.
Some of the things he put you through? That
would mean that he would have to think he did something wrong. And he definitely does not think he ever does anything wrong. Wow. I doubt it.
Who broke up with you?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just remember like we had been fighting and we had been kind of like, when like you start to break up and you're like, this is over, it's over it. But like then it's not for like 3 days and then it goes in this cycle. That's kind of what was happening. And I think finally he was the one that said it's over. And in the past, it had been me, but I just kept like sticking around. I didn't like want to leave. I think one, because I was trying to prove to everyone like, hey, like I can do this. We can do this. Like he's not that much of a psycho. But then I kind of realized he was. And I think that he ended it. And I actually saw these text messages on my phone. I guess I had like screenshot them, probably sent them to all my girlfriends.
Still have them? You want to read them out loud? You got it.
I don't know. My phone's here, but I read it a couple of days ago. So it was something like, I said, like, thank you for doing like what I apparently didn't have the guts to do. Like, like you've made this a living hell for me. And I'm so sick of your shit. Like I pity the person that you end up with and has to deal with this for the rest of their lives, because I'm so thankful it's not me anymore.
Did he write back? Okay.
I wasn't nice. No, he wrote back. He was just like, he was like, thank you for teaching me about your culture. And I had such a great experience getting to know you. And I'm just like, shut up. Like, dude, like you're like, I just like read that the other day and I was like, this is like the most full of shit thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Like he just like thought he was so great. Like he just thought he was such a catch. And like, I should be so lucky that I got to like experience him,
One.
I just the other day I read it and I was like pissed. I was like, God, what a douchebag still.
Yeah. I mean, we've done that, right? We go back and then you're just like, you see things clearly and you're just like, why did I ever buy any of this ever?
Yeah,
I know.
I might do that too much more than I should.
Yeah, but part of it too is like we when we're in relationships, we want to be good partners. We want to have the back. We want to believe the people we're with. We want to believe in them because we've chosen them, and it's a reflection on ourselves. And if they suck, then maybe we suck. Kind of, it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
For sure. I was so afraid of what everyone was going to think. Like everyone was like, oh, that's not going to last. And, they were right.
Yeah.
But I think I stuck it out a lot longer than I should have just because of everyone's opinion of us.
Yeah. I told you so of it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nobody likes a good I told you so.
What are you going to do?
Right.
What are you going to do? Well, Nikki, again, this has been a ton of fun, and I really appreciate you coming on. Sure. Best of luck with everything. Say hi to your family for me. And this has been a ton of fun. I'm glad people were able to hear your point of view, and you've definitely been through a lot from that show, and definitely got the short end of the stick at the end. Any final thoughts on predictions on Clare's season or what you think's going on? Does any of this surprise you?
I mean, I just don't think she's like emotionally stable. So no, it doesn't surprise me.
Okay, that's honest.
I don't really know what's happening. I don't really have like an inside scoop, but I think it's going to be weird. Like, did you really fall in love with a guy in 2 weeks? Like, really? Like, I don't know. Maybe she did. And everyone deserves love. So like, if she did, good for her. I'll pray for him. But I just think it's all very strange.
I really think he would have thrived in paradise.
She was so good.
I don't know.
It's really a shame.
I mean,
it's really a shame. How understanding is your husband? Like, would he let you just go?
Go for fun.
Well, I keep telling him, like, you know, like Wells is like, he's about to like he's married or about to be married. Like maybe like I should come back and I should bartend so I can just like kind of like stir the pot a little bit.
Yeah.
So
No,
I would propose that.
You're quite honest. It's really great. Any other thoughts on Clare's season?
No, I don't know. Are you going on it? Are you going to show up?
No.
Okay, just checking. Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know if I'll watch it because, like, kind of like her voice is like nails on a chalkboard to me. So, I mean, I just hope
everybody loves a good hate watch. I love a good hate watch.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, listen, if you're not a fan of Clare, I don't know, and I think it can go either way. And my guess is those decisions haven't been made in terms of how they are going to air this.
She could only be on for 2 weeks.
But it could potentially go very poorly for her.
Yeah.
Or they
I know. And I'm
it really comes like, what music are they going to play?
Yeah.
Like
is it going to be the guitar music, like the happy strumming, or is it going to be like, you know, the weird music?
But like they're well, they have a lot of footage. I'm curious what they're going to show.
And how many weeks she'll be on versus how many weeks Tasia will be on.
It'll all be very interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope, like I said, I do hope for her sake she is in love and happy. I really
right.
Otherwise,
because that's whatever. I mean, everyone wants that for other people, like, right?
Yeah.
Even if you don't really like them or like them at all.
I'm obsessed with Nikki. Love it.
I met Clare a few times. I think she's fine, but she is like I said.
That's what makes her good TV.
That's what I said last week. I would if someone said, "Can you believe what Clare did?" Whatever it is, I'd be like, "Yeah. I mean, sure."
Yeah, actually, I can. I mean, honestly, none of that surprises me. So, and I like, again, like, I think if Clare and I would have met, like, not in the situation that we did, do I think we would be friends? Absolutely not. But do I think that I would have this like this kind of like, like eye roll thing about her every time I hear her voice? Probably not. Like, I mean, it is what it is. Like, we never like hashed it out afterwards because there was nothing to hash out. But I mean, I think she's probably like, she's just a little nutty. She's just a little crazy.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for coming. This has been a lot of fun, Nikki. Thank you for not disappointing. Again, best of luck. I hope we start hearing more from you. Thanks for being a healthcare worker in these times.
Yeah.
I know that's not always easy. And all the best to you. Where can people find you, Nikki? We're on the gram. Where you want to promote something?
Just my Instagram.
You know?
No, just my Instagram. That's it. In my Instagram and my normal life. That's it.
Give Nikki a follow. She's going to give some hot live takes on her Instagram stories throughout the first portion of Clare's season. Her honest take. I'm going to suggest that you do that. I think that might be
okay.
Maybe she should come back.
Fruitful for you. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see how they spin it.
So, Nikki, thanks so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to send in your questions at asknick@castme.com. Cast with a K for Ask Nick episodes on Mondays. Don't forget to subscribe, rate us 5 stars, and tune in tomorrow for a wild conversation with one Victoria Fuller.
It's a Bachelor week.
So Bachelor week. Get some Chris Soules updates, some behind the scenes from her season. Just a wild time.
Yeah. Talk about corn.
Talk about corn. That's wild. See you tomorrow.